Thanks, Glenn. You're listening live to historic broadcast between a human being and an ape. Welcome him in, Stugotz. Let's welcome in our co-host, Stugotz.
Well, Dan, feels like a playoff-type atmosphere here at Sun Life Stadium today.
What are the keys to the game?
Well, they got to hit, they got to pitch, they got to hustle, Dan. Your keys?
That's very good, David. You're pretty good at this. I think you should take over for us.
I think my microphone may have been off, actually, to start that, which is shocking. But just for the folks at home, Chris Carpenter was out on an 0-1 pitch, 4-3. Brendan Ryan has just struck out on actually a 1-2 very nice slider by Chris Volstad. And so now it's 2 outs, 4-0 on the Brad Davis Grand Slam home run. I'm happy to be joined by Stugotz and Dan LeBatard, although I really don't know what they'll add to this broadcast, if anything.
Well, so far we've added absolutely nothing. You will do most of the work here, David. You must feel like this is a must-win game for your team?
Well, I think anytime you have a one-game series and you're trying to win the game, it would be quite nice to get that win. That was a strike on the inside black to the leadoff hitter, Skip Shoemaker.
This game, baseball doesn't move quickly. Everyone complains that baseball doesn't move quickly. It's moving too quickly for us right now. I think this
and
half
that's
inning is
the
over.
end of the inning. That is out. Ozzie Martinez to Gabby Sanchez.
Schumacher
so
grabs
after
out
two
to
and
the
a half
shortstop.
innings, it is Marlins 4, St. Louis 0.
Back after this on the Florida Marlins Radio Network.
Quickest half inning in the history of baseball we just witnessed. David Samson bullied us around here in the booth because we weren't giving enough information. Samson, tell us about your shortstop here who's been shot several times in the offseason.
Ozzie Martinez is up and just took strike one from Chris Carpenter in a 4-0 Marlins lead. And he had a rough offseason. He did get shot several times. Ball 2 and ball 1, excuse me. That's 1-1. I feel like
1-1 count. And by the way, the first inning was so bad that David Samson, we were supposed to call 3 innings today, and David just informed us we'll be calling 2. A single up the middle.
That's not just a single, Stu. That's called the first ever major league hit for Ozzie Martinez.
The first major league hit for the shortstop we've never heard of until today.
Wait a minute. He got shot 5 times before he got his first major league hit?
He certainly did, and they're taking the ball off. They're going to give it to Mike Kozak, the assistant trainer, who will inscribe it for him, which I think caps an amazing year for him. He was in Jacksonville 2 days ago when we won the Southern League Championship, and here he is getting his major league hit off no less than Chris Carpenter.
So a man on first here, no out, and Logan Morrison comes up to bat, Dan.
I like his plate discipline, by the way. They've got a couple of guys with Coughlin, Gabby Sanchez, and Morrison who have good plate discipline. But what's going to happen here, David, with Rodriguez, in all seriousness, given that Hanley's got the position locked up for the next decade?
Well, Edwin Rodriguez is our interim manager. You may mean Ozzie Martinez, who's the shortstop. Are you confusing Rodriguez and Martinez?
All of these Latin guys are the same to me, Samson.
There he is, Dan LeBatard. Oy vey. By the way, that's ball 2 to Logan Morrison, who, as you know, has a 38-game streak of getting on base by either a walk, hit by pitch, or hit. Today he's 0 for 1, 5-3 in the first inning. So this is a pretty big at-bat, Stu.
Does that include the shot he took in the face when he was standing in the on base?
Stu, you got to stop talking when there's a hit.
Logan Morrison with a big base hit up the right side, and Martinez slides it at first and third, no out here in the bottom of the third inning for the Marlins.
What Logan did, he actually, if you look at the replay of that, he stayed back on that Chris Carpenter fastball. He pulled it right to the right fielder, and you saw Ozzie Martinez go from first to third quite well on that, Dan. What's your scouting report on Ozzie's speed?
I wanted to ask you the question that I asked you before about him. What are you going to do with him at shortstop if you've got how many millions locked up in Hanley Ramirez at that position?
Well, listen, we just want as many good players as possible. We do have a shortstop for a lot of years, but Ozzie's up here and he wants to play well, and maybe he can be a utility or play other positions, or sometimes players get hurt. But you can never have enough good players or good radio hosts as Dan Ugla takes ball 1.
Pitch inside to Ugla, so a 1-0 count. First and third, no out here in the bottom of the third. If you're wondering where Geffen Hefner is, we're wondering as well. It's Dan LeBatard Stugotz and David Samson calling the game here for a couple innings. And texters, you can ask Samson a question, 74965. And yes, we're all in agreement here. This is an unmitigated disaster.
Epic failure. But here, there's a guy in the batter's box, Samson. Everybody wants to know when you're going to pay that man his money.
That'd be Gabby Sanchez, of course. Way to paint that picture, Dan.
That's
Actually,
Ugla.
Dan Ugla's up there, Stu. Thank you
Danny
so much.
Ugla. Danny Ugla. Well, let me paint the picture, okay?
You don't have to pay Gabby for a while. He'll be here for a little while. Ugla's the one that they've got to pay.
I can't actually believe you two have a radio show. It's very sad. The count to Dan is 1-2, first and third now. Nobody outs as the Marlins try to really stick on Chris Carpenter, what could be his worst outing of the year. Hopefully it will be. Dan, we're talking to him. We would very much like to have him long-term.
Marlins Radio's worst outing of the year, too.
There's a bloop to the left side there, caught by the shortstop, Skip Schumacher. I hope it's Skip Schumacher. It better be Skip Schumacher.
It's actually Brendan Ryan, but listen, you're doing fine.
Thank you. So Brandon Ryan is playing shortstop today for the St. Louis Cardinals.
But you didn't answer the question on Ugla. Answer the question on Ugla.
We've been talking to him. We're going to keep talking to him. And listen, of course, we want him on our team. And he's been an important part, franchise leader in home runs, and we love him. And he's been around a long time, and we hope he stays.
He's as consistent a player as you guys have, given that I wouldn't give him long-term money after 30 because you guys are hesitant to give anybody long-term money. And he's had four straight 30 home run seasons. Like, his numbers across the board for the last 4 years have been consistent, but when you reach his age, you usually get some kind of decline.
You can pretty much pencil him in for 30 and 90, and he started his career a little bit late when he got to the big leagues. He was 26 already as Gabby Sanchez takes ball one. It's first and third, one out, and Stugotz has a live read that he's going to try to get
He won't
through.
screw this up. No, this one he can do.
I know how to shill. Fans, full season ticket plans for 2012 in the new Marlins ballpark are on sale right now. Choose from a variety of seating areas and amenities. Several premium areas are almost sold out. Call the New Marlins Ballpark Sales Headquarters at 1-877-411-2012 and set up your appointment today.
That ball was well hit. It's foul.
Or go to Marlins.com.
Gabby Sanchez just hit one about 450 feet foul. He counts even at 1-1. Logan Morrison on first. Ozzie Martinez on third. Ozzie Martinez with his first major league hit, and you've got Logan with another hit, extending his streak to 39 games in a row on base by either hit, walk, or hit by pitch. Way to go, Logan.
Carpenter deals. Some chin music to Gabby Sanchez.
Chin music normally isn't swung at. And he's
David,
swung at that, Stu.
I got news for you. I was getting chin music in no matter what today.
This is radio, Stu.
I was getting my chin music in.
Dan, I'm wondering if we can get a close-up of your mother on radio.
1 ball, 2 strikes here to Gabby Sanchez. Marlins lead 4-0. First and third, 1 out. The pitch. Sanchez swings and misses. Carpenter strikes him out. Carpenter been pretty disappointing lately for the Cardinals. Disappointing season for the St. Louis Cardinals.
Well, he's got a 3.33 ERA, and it's a team, if you look at the Cardinals in general, they've got to be disappointed. They've had some issues, as you know, pretty much out of the playoff picture, which for them is rare, and they're struggling through it.
Chad Tracy steps up to the plate for the Marlins here. First and third, 2 outs now here in the bottom of the third inning. Marlins leading 4-0.
Even in a 4-0 game, this would be a big pick-me-up for St. Louis if we can't score here, having first and third, no outs. So hopefully Chad Tracy can get a base hit.
A big pick-me-up. This game is wholly irrelevant.
No, there's
not for the Cardinals. It's not.
Nothing's wholly irrelevant. No, the Cardinals aren't eliminated yet.
Well, they're still in it then. Meaningful baseball here in September for the Cardinals. You disagree, apparently, from that laugh, huh? Here's the 0-1. Swings and miss. 0-2 the count now to Tracy.
Misses. Swings and misses.
Thank you, Dan.
I hope you have a new appreciation for Glenn and DVH and the hard work it takes to call 162 games.
A new appreciation? I've always had an appreciation for him.
I know Dan does, and he's standing here with such contempt and disdain, it's hard to imagine.
Where is Dave Van Horn, by the way? I don't like the fact that there's a Hall of Famer breathing down my neck. It's very intimidating.
He's not there yet, but he certainly should be. Chad just took an 0-2 pitch inside. It's 1-2, first and third, 2 outs.
Why aren't you wearing headsets? I heard you're a germaphobe, and so you won't wear headsets.
Not unless they've been cleaned or are brand new. That is actually true, but DVH has a microphone, and my lips are approximately 3/4 of an inch to an inch away from it at this exact
And that
moment.
makes you uncomfortable, doesn't it? It makes you
I actually
uncomfortable.
have upper lip sweat currently.
So you have some Howie Mandel in you? Is that correct? Here comes the pitch from Carpenter. He strikes him out. That's the end of the inning.
The hell was he looking at?
I don't know. You got
strike three.
I
think he may have been expecting something else. Is the only thing I can think of.
It is 4-0. We're back right after this on the Florida Marlins Radio Network.
What a terrible at bat. 4-0 Marlins on a grand slam. Who was the guy who hit the grand slam? The same guy who just stood there waiting and taking a pitch?
Brad Davis hit a grand slam off Chris Carpenter to make it 4-0.
Could you walk into your locker room right now and name every player in there? Because you got a lot of people in that lineup that I have no idea who they are.
I have two new guys who were just called up. Cechek was called up, and I have not met him. Though I have seen him, I've not met him.
What's going on here? Who's batting here, Samson? You're helping us out because we don't know anything.
Well, John Jay is up, and Chris Volstad's 1-1 to John Jay.
John Jay is black?
He is indeed, Dan. Confirmed. Marlins leading 4-0 here, top of the fourth. Dan LeBatard Stugotz and Marlins team president Dave. And John Jay just grounds out to the shortstop. Over to first to Gabby Sanchez. One away here in the top of the fourth. Again, Marlins leading 4-0
Stu,
in
he
Sun
didn't
Life
ground
Stadium.
out until the throw is actually made. I think you got to learn that once the ground ball happens, a lot can still happen prior to the out.
Especially with your guys in the field, huh?
Look who's batting here. Look who's batting here. Albert Pujols leads the league in a lot of offensive categories, including
nose hair,
including attending Glenn Beck rallies.
Pitch to Pujols, a ball outside.
Can we talk about Tony La Russa's tattoo? He's got a tattoo.
Of what?
He got a tattoo recently.
It's 1-1 to Albert Pujols. What's the tattoo of, Dan?
I don't know, but he lost a bet to his daughter, and he got a tattoo late in life. He's a surprising sports figure to have a tattoo, especially getting it late in life. Apparently she bet him that he could stay awake at the stoplight when drinking and driving during spring training.
Volstad getting ready to deal.
Glenn Geffner just passed out in the radio booth, by the way.
Three
Literally,
balls and...
If someone could come to the radio booth and please resuscitate Glenn Geffner.
You noticed. It's easier, David. You just ignore him and move on. That's all you do. The 3-1 here to Pujols. And why not? You got to walk that guy.
Our biggest nightmare has come true. The scoreboard has gone out.
What a disaster. Matt Holliday coming to the plate for the St. Louis Cardinals. Today's preferred care partners tip of the day is the resting period for a muscle injury has certain steps to reduce further damage. Rest, ice, compression, and elevation.
The La Russa tattoo, not the strangest one in sports.
Scoreboard is back, thank God.
Strike on the outside corner.
Good
Kenyon
call.
Martin also has a couple of tattoos. He's got a rapper's lips tattooed on his neck. He's going to have that removed because clearly that relationship didn't last, so neither will that tattoo. Also, he's got a Chinese symbol he thinks means warrior, but Yao Ming has told him means noodles. The 0-1.
There's a strike from Volstad there.
Folks, the thing about LeBatard is he's delivering all these lines seriously as though our listeners actually want to hear about Kenyon Martin's rapper tattoo.
Oh, they do.
The fact is it's now 0-2, Stu, just so you know.
That's correct.
To Holliday with Pujols on first. Volstad right now with 45 pitches comes in.
And that's a shot up the middle there. Caught by the left fielder. I'd say his name, but I don't know who your left fielder is. Is
That's
it Logan
Morrison? That's
okay.
Morrison.
Did you say a shot up the middle? Ladies and gentlemen, that was a shot right to left field, actually. I'm not sure what.
Two away here in the top of the fourth, Dave. Two away in the top of the fourth. Dan, you would say that Volstad is dealing today, right?
Not the strangest tattoo I've seen in sports. John Clayton has one on his lower back, a tramp stamp. I licked it one time at
Stu, if you could give
crazy
Dan his medicine
ESPN
here,
Christmas party.
We've lost him.
Volstad stuff is electric today, folks.
Here we are in the top of the fourth, 2 outs. 4-0 Marlins on a Brad Davis grand slam in the bottom of the second.
Colby Rasmus is up at the
Colby Rasmus takes strike one. Colby Rasmus had some issues with Tony La Russa recently.
He has to be traded, didn't he?
It's unclear whether he asked, whether he has an issue with Tony La Russa.
Stunning that a young player wouldn't get along with a warm personality like Tony La Russa.
You know,
he seems like such a patient man.
When you're a young player, I think you should just be quiet and play and be happy that you're playing.
Pop fly. Looks like it will go foul here.
It's a foul ball, Stu.
Yeah, it was a pop fly. What foul?
La Russa fights with everyone, doesn't La Russa?
He's fighting with someone right now.
La Russa fought with Twitter, right? He fought. He had a big incident where he was fighting with the people on Twitter because there was a fake Tony La Russa. Didn't make enough bullpen changes for him, apparently. Didn't make enough substitution.
The 0-2 from Volstad. Bit outside there. 1 ball, 2 strikes. 2 outs here in the top of the fourth. Marlins lead 4-0. See any good movies lately, Dave?
I think I'm living through one right now.
A horror film.
And it's pretty good.
And you hate horror films.
That's a foul
There was
ball.
a crack of the bat there, Stugotz. You got to describe what happened.
Well, hey, let's not be afraid to pitch in. Team sport.
When there's a crack of the bat, you actually have to say what it was.
What was it then?
That was actually a foul ball that, right down the first base line. So it's still 1-2 to Colby Rasmus. 2 outs. Pujols on first with the leadoff walk. Chris trying to pitch around that leadoff walk. Just threw his 51st pitch in the dirt for a 2-2 count.
Nice. Good stats you just gave there.
Now, Dan, when we met with Edwin before the game, he said he would not let Volstad go past 85 pitches today.
That was the manager?
I know you've been confusing Edwin Rodriguez and Ozzie Martinez, but that was the manager. Another foul ball.
We also met with LaRussa, and he was barely coherent before the game.
Rasmus is way ahead on Volstad's sinkers here, which is why you'll notice he's pulling all those foul balls down the first base lines, too.
So 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs here in the top of the fourth with the Marlins leading 4-0.
That is weird that a guy would ask for a trade in baseball. You rarely see that, right?
Very rare. It just shows, as Colby takes ball 3 low, it just shows that there may have been an issue, whatever the case may be. But
he hates LaRussa. He hates LaRussa.
Yeah,
That's
when you're
it.
A player, you just play, whether you have an issue with your manager or not. When you see your name in the lineup, you go out and play. That's definitely our.
Have you ever had anyone ask you for a trade? Or demand a trade through an agent?
Nobody in uniform. As Rasmus takes ball 4 with Pujols running, of course, on 3-2, 2 outs. That's going to bring up Yadier Molina, one of the Molina brothers. I always get confused which one. I think it's Yadier.
I'm pretty sure this is his Zendejas brother right here.
Have you ever thought about that? Think about if there were 3 LeBatards on radio.
Oh, boy.
Molina's a great catcher. He's the best defensive catcher in baseball. Everyone says so. Posada says so. McCann says so. Victor Martinez says so. They all say he's the best defensive catcher in baseball.
Those are all offensive catchers.
That's all exactly.
Right.
You have the defensive catcher?
I think it's a 2 or 3 time All-Star, Dan. Yes. There it is.
There what is?
LeBatard telling you that Molina is an excellent catcher.
The only thing that happened is Volstad just threw strike 1 on the inside black fastball.
To Benji Molina.
To A. Molina.
A. Molina.
First and second, 2 outs. Here's the pitch. That's a ground ball.
That's a shot up the middle.
Martinez to first, and that's the inning.
Is that a broken bat? That's the first bat in days thrown down there that didn't impale somebody.
Commercial, Dan. After 3.5 innings, the Marlins 4 and the Cardinals 0. You're listening to the Marlins Radio Network.
4-0 Marlins. This is the bottom of the inning, right? If the Marlins are batting, 4-0 Marlins. Grand slam by, was it Tracy or was it the other guy?
It's Davis then.
Davis. Mike Stanton is batting now against Chris Carpenter.
Manny Ramirez does take strike 1 inside left, so 0-1 here to Manny Ramirez. Oh, he hits one far, but not far enough. Looks like Rasmus is going to catch it in the outfield, or it's Ryan, or I have no idea, but Mike Stanton is out, 1 away here in the bottom of the 4th inning. I mean, did I nail that call or what? I gave you the impression, David, that maybe it was going to be a home run, but then I pulled it right back.
Yeah, but people can't watch it on television, so they.
Oh, I think I painted a picture there.
Yeah, but you painted the wrong picture.
Brad Davis, the guy who hit the grand slam to put the Marlins up to 4-0. He is up at the plate.
There's
right
over 100 million reasons you should know who caught that ball. That was Matt Holliday in left field, of course.
Okay.
And now Brad Davis is up, who hit a grand slam in the 2nd inning. I have no stats on how many grand slams we have or have hit, but it seems like that was a timely one. It's 1-0 now to Brad Davis as the Marlins are leading here 4-0 bottom of the 4th. This is David Samson along with Dan LeBatard and Stugotz. And Brad Davis sends one to center field. I don't think that's going to have the distance. And it's 2 away.
Marlin fans, this afternoon's broadcast is brought to you by Jiffy Lube. Right now you can save $10 on a Jiffy Lube signature service oil change every Tuesday. Just stop by your nearest participating Jiffy Lube. No coupons necessary. Cannot be combined with any other offer or discount. Jiffy Lube is the official oil change of the Florida Marlins.
I'd like to point out that this broadcast is being heard in the Marlins clubhouse, and the players have been texting, listening intently to LeBatard's quotes and comments. And Edwin and Ozzie Martinez are on their way to the booth to show Dan that they are actually, in fact, two different people.
That guy was your manager. The guy that we talked to before the game was your manager.
Yes. The guy who gave us all those scouting reports before the game.
In accented English.
Yes, that is their manager.
2-1 to Chris Volstad. 2 outs here in the bottom of the fourth. Chris is pitching a good game as he takes and swings through a changeup.
There is no chance of Volstad doing anything in this at-bat the way that he swings. Zero chance. There's a 0% chance of him doing anything other than what he just did, which is strike out meekly and head back to the dugout.
And just like that, Chris Carpenter gets through 4 innings, and that's the end of 4. Marlins, 4 runs, 4 hits, no errors. Cardinals, no runs, 1 hit, no errors. The end of the 4, Marlins 4, Cardinals 0. The Florida Marlins Radio Network.